All right, let's jump right in. We're about to pull back the curtain on this secret world that's running pretty much everything you do, both online and off. Yep, we're talking about algorithms.
So let's just get right to it, because this is the big question, right? What even is an algorithm? The word itself sounds, I don't know, kind of technical, maybe a little scary even. But stick with me. I promise you, by the time we're done here, you're going to realize you're basically an algorithm pro already.
That's it. No, seriously, that's the whole secret. At its core, an algorithm is just a recipe. It's a list of steps for getting something done. So for now, just forget all the complicated code and techie stuff. The only word you need to remember is recipe. Okay, so to prove to you just how simple this is, we're going to start with a recipe I bet you already know by heart. This first section, we're calling it the magic recipe. And trust me, this is where that little aha moment is going to happen. Yep, the good old peanut butter and jelly sandwich. See, you just ran an algorithm. Every step is super clear, right? They have to be in a specific order. And if you follow that order, you solve the problem, in this case, being hungry, and you get a delicious sandwich. That's literally all an algorithm is. And this right here, this just nails it. You have to think of a computer kind of like this little brother. It doesn't assume anything. You have to spell out every single step, clearly, in the right order. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. There's zero room for guessing. All right, so we've established it's a recipe. Now, let's take that idea and run with it. In this next part, we're going to go on a little hunt. We're going to spot the algorithm, hiding in plain sight. Because I'm telling you, once you know what you're looking for, you'll see these things absolutely everywhere. Just think about how you started your day. I bet you follow pretty much the same steps every single morning, almost on autopilot, right? Well, guess what? That whole routine, that's your personal morning algorithm. Your brain is just running the get me out the door program. Or what about this one? We've all been there, the classic where are my keys algorithm. You know the drill. Step 1, a little bit of panic. Step 2, check the pockets. Step 3, scan the counter. It's a totally logical, step-by-step process for solving a problem, even if it sometimes ends with you finding your keys in the fridge for some reason. Okay, so we've seen how we use these little recipes in our daily lives, but here's where things get wild. What happens when you give one of these recipes to a computer, and it can follow the steps a million times a second? Well, it starts to look a whole lot like a digital superpower. Take a Google search, for instance. The second you hit enter, this mind-blowingly complex algorithm fires up, but deep down, it's just following our recipe concept. It figures out what you're looking for, it zips through billions of web pages faster than you can blink, and then it follows a bunch of rules to rank everything so the most useful stuff shows up at the top. All right, you ready to peek under the hood at a real classic computer algorithm? To make it easy to picture, we're going to visualize how a computer sorts a bunch of numbers by throwing a little dance party. So picture this. We've got 5 dancers on the floor, but they're all mixed up, totally out of order. Our mission, our problem to solve, is to get them lined up from the smallest number to the largest, just by using a couple of super simple rules. Okay, rule number 1 for our algorithm is simple. Look at the first 2 dancers in line. Is dancer number 5 bigger than dancer number 2? Yep, so they swap spots. Easy enough, right? Then the algorithm just shuffles down to the next pair and asks the same exact question. And that's the whole game. The process just keeps going. The algorithm makes pass after pass, just looking at 2 dancers at a time, its neighbors. So here it gets to 8 and 1. Is 8 bigger than 1? You bet, so swap. It just repeats that one simple move over and over and over again until everyone is in the right place. And that's actually how this algorithm gets its cool name, bubble sort. Because if you watch it happen, with every pass, the smaller numbers kind of bubble their way up to the front of the line. It's just a simple recipe that creates perfect order out of total chaos. So now that we've got a handle on what these things are, let's meet some of the heroes of the story. These are your algorithm heroes, the powerful recipes that are already working behind the scenes for you every single day, kind of like invisible digital sidekicks. I mean, really think about it. When Netflix suggests a show, it's not a lucky guess. Its algorithm is looking at everything you've watched and comparing it to what millions of other people with similar tastes like. When you use your GPS, it's running a nonstop algorithm, checking traffic, finding the absolute fastest way to get you there. And Spotify's Discover Weekly? That's a masterclass in algorithmic playlist making, all based on your taste.
But let's be real, they are not perfect, not even close sometimes. An algorithm is only as smart as the recipe it's given. And sometimes, oh boy, do they get it wrong. We have all suffered the wrath of the autocorrect algorithm that thinks it's helping, but instead just creates maximum awkwardness. So where does that leave us? What does all this actually mean? In our last section here, the future and you, we're going to look at what's coming next. But even more important than that, we're going to talk about your place in this whole new world. I mean, the stuff that's on the horizon is just mind-blowing. We're talking about algorithms that can help doctors spot diseases years earlier, or AI that can create stunning works of art. Self-driving cars, sure, but also algorithms designed to tackle huge problems like climate change. The recipes are getting way, way more powerful. But you know what? Here's the single most important thing to remember from all of this. This isn't just about computers, it's about you. Every single time you make a decision, or follow a routine, or figure out how to solve a problem, you are using algorithmic thinking. You've been doing this your whole life. You're already an expert. You just didn't have the fancy word for it. So when you boil it all down, an algorithm isn't some scary piece of tech. It's a tool. It's a way of thinking that helps you solve problems. And now that you get it, now that you speak the language, the only real question left is, what's your next recipe going to be? What problem are you going to solve?